Here's a live look at Boston, Massachusetts now as we check back in on one of our top stories, anti-Trump protests taking place across the country today after a tumultuous week, to say the least, on Wall Street and the economy. We want to point out, just a few minutes ago, we did show you a protest. We said it was Boston. It was not Boston. It was an unrelated protest. But what you are looking at right now is Boston, and I'm from there. I can recognize this. This is the plaza right outside of City Hall in downtown. Here's a live look at Boston.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom, call halal YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the whole elect scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. Real quick, quick update, man. Things are getting very intense, all right, all over the world, man. It's getting very tense, and you got to be upon your watchtower watching these things, and as we see them, we are going to report on them. All right. This was this past Saturday. All over the world, they were protesting against Trump. Okay, all over the world, not just here in America, but all over the world. In fact, when we was going to camp, we was doing the video actually, and the audio wasn't even on, so I had to take the video down. But it's whatever. Besides that, right? As we're going to camp, we're driving through the city, and there was a protest in downtown Tampa. Okay, a protest in downtown Tampa, and then people was out there looking pissed. They was mad. You could tell it. They was people that had lost their jobs, people who are feeling the effects of these tariffs, all type of stuff, man. So the Lord is really stirring up the spirits in this place, and this is also just a reminder to stay circumspect, man. Okay, because at this point anything could pop off. Okay, at this point anything could pop off, and I've been mentioning it. How, hey, towards the end of this month, is talks about things getting really crazy, okay, with the whole deportations and thing, and they might even, come to the point or close to the point of issuing martial law, okay, because right now there's a bunch of civil unrest among these people, and ultimately all hell is about to break loose. So let's grab a few precepts, though, real quick. I saw this and I had to touch on it. It says, 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of these signs pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So these are the signs that we're going to see in the last days, showing us that we are in the last days, right? It says, verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, and here in in Taiwan, you just had Thailand. Okay, you just had an earthquake that killed all the people. We did a video on that 2 weeks ago. Okay, the other day they was talking about it was one in America. I forgot exactly the details on it, but just these earthquakes are all over the place right now. But the point of this lesson was the last point. It says, "and uproars of the people in the world." And right now, all over the world, people are in uproar. Okay, these tariffs, these trade wars, inflation, the cost of living, homelessness. Okay, these deportations, all these things is World War III, Israel and Gaza. People are upset. People are in an uproar right now, all over the world. Okay, for different reasons. Everybody got their own reason why they out there. The point is that they out there, okay? And this is all going to lead to more civil unrest and in turn them evoking martial law, because right now Trump can do that. As things get worse, he has the power to evoke martial law. And right now, all over the world, people are protesting against him. So that's only going to escalate as he, clamps down more. It says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things that from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. This is prophecy, okay? And we're seeing prophecy play out in these last days. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So here we are witnessing the end of America. Okay, the end of this Babylonian kingdom, America. Okay, it's being made manifest. These prophecies are being fulfilled right before our eyes. It says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So this is one of the signs that we will see. Little, just look at that, man. Look at all them people. Okay, that's hundreds of thousands of people. Okay, if not millions out there. Just whole city filled up with people. Just or at least that whole street filled up with people, man. Okay, and they're all out there in protest against Trump. All right. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. Right. So we're going to be saved, Lord willing, we be that elect for our faith and by our works. OK, so you got to have both. It says, shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Right. So whoever the elect are, they were sanctified. OK, to be delivered from this destruction that's coming, these said perils. OK, and much peril is coming. OK, much tribulation, much hell, much chaos. OK, much bloodshed. These things are coming. All right. And we're really, just, seeing the beginning of it. OK, the beginning of the end. All right. Let's grab that real quick. OK. I don't think I'm saying it right, but Salakia. We can grab that too. Well, let's see. I was looking for a particular scripture. Lord, want to come back to me. But this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? And when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Because Esau is losing his power. Okay, this whole thing with this World War III thing about to pop off, this is going to put the so-called white man out of the power seat, off the throne, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay, and then it's going to be our turn to be in power. It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so yeah, it's just the beginning of, our kingdom been established in the earth. And this is why all over TikTok, everybody's talking about the Hebrews, like the Hebrews, like the black Hebrews, like the black Hebrews. Hey, the Lord told us this time was going to come. Okay. All we got to do is continue to do the work. And now is the time to really, crank down more than ever. The bare minimum ain't going to do it, man. Okay. You go anywhere in this life doing the bare minimum and you see where it gets you. The Lord is looking for exceptional. Okay. The elect are going to be, those men that are going to be exceptional amongst, the rest of our people. OK, and they were already predestined, from the beginning of time. It says Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, which America's modern day Egypt. OK, so really these Egyptians are these Americans, these Babylonians. It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And, understand that, because even here in America, they got something called the red states and the blue states. These people there, they're Americans. They're all these Babylonians, right? They're going to get thrown cuffs, man, to fist the cuffs. OK, it's going to be war in the streets. People are going to be losing their shit. OK. All it take is another group to go out there that supports Trump and to stand in front of the people who are against Trump, and then tensions going to flare. They're going to start fighting. It says, verse 2 in the NLT, it says, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province. The Egyptians will lose heart and will confuse their plan. They will lead with their idols for wisdom. They will plead with their idols for wisdom and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult with the spirits of the dead. Right. These people are dealing with witchcrafts and sorceries, too. OK, they're dealing with witchcraft and sorcery. So a lot of that's going on. OK, but we are definitely in a time of all hell breaking loose. at any day now. Okay. People that were once, cool, people that were once, co-workers, neighbors, are going to be, at each other's throats. Salakia. It says, Second Ezra, chapter 6. Let's see. Wow, yeah, that's right. We were just right here. That's a spirit. Verse 22, it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Because this is what comes next. Okay. That's why you got the tariff wars, the inflation, hyperinflation. These stores are going to be empty, man. One of the brothers in the camp, the beloved brother I talked about him, in his job, he said that a lot of stores are not accepting certain liquor from, Canada or wherever these, these tariffs and these sanctions are or whatever. So you're going to have less stuff on the shelves, and the things that are on the shelves, prices are going to skyrocket. Okay. It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound which when every man heareth, so like they shall be suddenly afraid. Okay. And that's going to be those alarms going off. People going to be terrified. They're going to, shut this place down. People going to try to fight back. It says, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. People going to lose their shit, bro. Okay. This is why they had a C9, where they had you on a lockdown. They was gearing your mind up for this right here. It says, that at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Right, this place is going to be completely shut down. It's going to be an economic collapse, and then chaos is going to erupt. All right, and there's going to be every man for himself. The law is going to be no more. It's going to be completely just Mad Max out here. Okay. And what you see with them protests, that's just the beginning of that. It says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. So we're witnessing the end of this world as we know it. Okay, not the end of the earth, where the earth is just going to implode. No, but the end of this rulership, the end of Esau's world, the end of his kingdom. Okay, this man is through. It's over. It's over. And call Allah Yahweh BAHASHAM Yahawashi for that. Let's close out with this right here. All right, I don't want to make this too long because I was planning on going into something else real quick. It says, 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 13, it says, go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. And we see, as we watch and we seeing how the Lord is making all this stuff happen, really for our benefit, for our salvation. Okay. So just pray, pray, watch, work. Okay. Continue to do the work, continue to pray, continue to watch, because this thing is all about to play out as the scriptures say. Okay. Yahweh BAHASHAM Yahawashi is certainly doing that. And as I said, as this man's kingdom is falling, our kingdom is being prepared. Our kingdom is already prepared for us. Okay. So yeah, man, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to go through hell to get to heaven. Okay, we're gonna have to go through hell to get to heaven. Let me close out with that. One more. Okay. Salakia. It's on the tip of my tongue. Let me see. Make sure I got it right. Yeah. Salakia. Let me grab this too. Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. And then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, no, nor ever shall be. We coming into its worst time in history. All right, that's not what I'm looking for though. Much tribulation. Salakia. Let's close out with this. It says, Acts chapter 14, verse 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, Salakia. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So we're going to have to go through, like I said, we got to go through hell to get to heaven. Okay? It's about to get, this road is about to get very bumpy, but we still going to get to our destination. And how righteous are we be that elect? All right? Watch and pray. Bringing this back. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. We exhorting you to continue in the faith. Keep pushing. We almost out of here. Okay, and people that, you know, is not pushing, we telling you to push. It says, and that we must, through much tribulation, much hell, much chaos, much anguish, much distress, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So it ain't gonna be no walk in the park, okay? And wait. So lucky, man. It's only happened when I had to go to do a video, and I know my body's probably exhausted, but the work got to be done, and you know, we go. That's another thing too. We gonna get our rest in the kingdom. All right, but you know, that's pretty much the point. Okay. But yeah, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of the Most High, man. Is that the time is coming where the Lord is about to really turn this place upside down. And, you know, you want to be right with the Lord. And when that day does come, and the Lord is going to guide us in the midst of chaos, you know, to a safe place. And that's our faith. That's what we believe. If you can't believe it, if you can't see it, this ain't for you. Shalom, Kwama Sharala, a Bible Ball. Shalom.